Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. I am just sorting out everything so that I know what I'm doing. Just bear with me a second, although that's a big ask that I know what I'm doing. Give me a sound check, guys. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I see a comment from Billy already saying that he's over on the Bin podcast, but he'll pop in. That's wonderful. Thank you, Billy. If you are watching, say hello. That would be wonderful. I have also popped a comment in. I've pinned the message to the top of the comment section as well. It is my GoFundMe, give me a coffee, buy me a coffee page where I am raising money for me for a change. So it'd be lovely if you could support that. So hello Draco, lovely to see you. How are you doing? Hi Stephen. Volume okay, brilliant. Oh, you were watching No Justice. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to cross my legs and they don't want to cross. I was running today. Yeah, a lot of people, sorry, everything's wobbling, isn't it? A lot of people, go live or live stream at this time of day, and it's really difficult because I saw that Regan Elite goes live at 6. I was going to go live at 6, but I don't want to cross with him. So yeah, it's really difficult to try and sort of do a live stream without treading on toes of other people. Obviously I don't want to, so yeah. Hi Pete, yes, this is live. I am live. Oh, you'll stay with me. Thank you, Stephen. That's lovely. Thank you. So have you all been? What you all been up to today? Have you had sunshine where you are? I've had sunshine all day. It's been red hot. I went for a run. I did a, 7.5 kilometer run. I wanted to do a 10, but I was kaput. I really was kaput. Yeah, it was hot. And I'd left my frozen water in the freezer. I forgot to put it in my running jacket. I do have my bladder with me, my water bladder with me when I go, but it's not the same as having freezing cold water. Yes, Pete, you are lucky. So before I get going, I'd like to ask you all to think of a famous person, write it down on a piece of paper if you can, or if you haven't got paper and pen handy, just keep it in your mind. Okay, the first famous person that comes to mind. That's all I'm going to ask you to do. Little tiny bit of work for you guys to do today. So guys, if you are in the chat, please keep it polite. Any nastiness will not be tolerated. I will boot you from the chat. Yeah, there's no need for it. Brilliant. Thank you, Stephen. You've done that. Brilliant. There's no need for rudeness in the chat. We all have different opinions, and that is perfectly normal and perfectly natural. But let's keep it pleasant rather than, finger pointing and jumping up and down. So I wanted to talk today about it being a man's world. And there's quite a few things that sort of led me to this topic today. Obviously, you guys know that I'm a feminist. You know that I detest misogyny, detest the patriarchy. I fight for women's rights, not just here in the Western world, but the whole world. Women are downtrodden in pretty much every culture, every ethnicity in the world. In fact, in all of them. I'm going to uncross my legs uncomfortable. I fell again running, me and my falling tricks. Not over a root this time, it was over a tussock of grass. And I was like, landed there and I'm like, you do this every time, Debs. You do this every single time. And it's a bit annoying. Luckily, I didn't graze myself too badly, so I could just block the blood, and I put a plaster over it. I always carry plasters with me in my running jacket. But unfortunately, because I was sweating so much, the plaster came off. But it's okay because it gave the bloody bit time to heal and get a skin over it so I don't get infected again. Pete, weather in central Scotland roasting hot. Yeah, it's roasting hot here as well in the Northeast Midlands. Very, very hot. I knew it was going to be hot. We are going to be having another heat wave this week, aren't we? So that's why I wanted to do my big run today. I wanted to do it yesterday, but I was still feeling a bit rubbish. I had horrible sore throat, possibly the remnants of the antibiotics that I was on for my ankle. But yeah, it's gone, thank goodness. So I ran today. Started off good, then ended up with lots of walking. But again, the weather, the heat, that's what I put it down to. I always run better in the cold. Anyway, coming back to the topic, misogyny. So, as I say, I'm a feminist and I stand up for women's rights all over the world, not just for here in the Western world. And I often get, told, well, women are equal. No, we're not. And we will only be equal once all women are equal. But equality, what people often see as equality of women with men is that women doing men's jobs, such as building, such as, fighting in the army. That's not the kind of equality that we are talking about. We're talking about being equal on a playing field of we are the same as men. So I came up on some podcast that I was watching about a book. Oh no, which has vanished. Oh no. Hang on a second, because I am on the OU website, or the university website, the library website, and it's telling me that there's an error opening the book. So bear with me, guys. I just need to go back in and redo this. It won't be long. So this book was mentioned and I thought, aha, this looks good. And so I ordered it. It should be here tomorrow or the day after. And so fingers crossed that it will be here on time. And I can't remember the name of it now. It's just gone out of my head because it's on my phone. Hang on. Let me see if I can just find it in an easy way. No, of course I can't. Because there's some passages that I want to read from it. And of course I can't remember the author's name now either. Let me see if I can get my Amazon order page up. See, I do everything on my phone these days. It's really weird when you do everything on your phone. You everything's on your phone. Now it wants me to log in. Now it's going to send me a PIN number, which it has done to my phone, which I can't see. Okay, hang on. Go to my email. Blimey heck. This is, me and technology, never good, never good. Here we go, it's come up. Okay, Invisible Women, that's what it's called. Invisible Women. And I've started reading it here. I always forget that I've actually got access to the OU website. And that I can actually read them from here. But I always prefer to have the actual book myself because I like to read, you know, in bed. That's my place for, you know, reading, is being in bed. Okay, now it's taken it all down to tiny font again. I have to have it zoomed in because I can't see properly anymore. This getting old thing, absolute rubbish. So, hi Trip, lovely to see you. Stephen, equality partly for you is everyone on the same level of respect. That's true. That is very true. But it's also about many other things. And the fact that misogyny is so ingrained in our society that a lot of the time, none of us see it, not just men, but women too. You do audiobooks for various reasons. Yeah, I prefer to read, and I like to highlight and stick notes in, and that's the way I read. It's just me. So we all have our preferred way of reading, whether that is listening or, you know, reading or reading online. In fact, strangely, I have books that I download onto my old phone from my Kobo account. So I do read on my old phone, but I don't have that on my new phone. I try and keep the two separate because otherwise there's just too much stuff on one phone and it just says delete stuff. And I'm like, what do I delete? And then I have to sit going through all my photos one by one, delete, delete, delete. All my videos one by one, delete, delete, delete. And of course, the vast majority of my photos are of my cats. I don't want to delete the photos of my cats. So if you haven't already, I know some of you already have, I did ask everybody at the beginning to please write down the name of a famous person. If you have a pen and paper handy, if not, you think of one, keep it in your mind. I'm going to come back to that at the end of the live, at the end of the feed. Birthday present for your missus. Lovely. And general cat food purchase duty. Yeah, they always take up a lot of our time, don't they? So this book is called Invisible Women, Exposing Data Bias or Data Bias in a World Designed for Men. And just reading the first few pages, I'm like, wow, yeah, this is quite interesting. So I'm going to read you the preface or preface, however you want to pronounce it. Most of recorded human history is one big data gap. Starting with the theory of man the hunter, the chroniclers of the past have left little space for women's role in the evolution of humanity, whether cultural or biological. Instead, the lives of men have been taken to represent those of humans overall. When it comes to the lives of the other half of humanity, there is often nothing but silence. And that is true. When we look at history books, it is from the viewpoint of men. And women have been given very little thought. And that, you know, when we look at things around us in the world today, I just made some notes earlier on, where there's this, I don't want to call it misogyny, but it's an ignorance of women, if you will, and how things are built in the world today. So, for example, toilets, men's and women's toilets, often found in the same place of a building, often the same size, and yet there is always a queue for the ladies' toilets because women have to sit down. And so we need a cubicle to sit down in, whereas men can go to a urinal and stand up. And so more men can go to the toilet at the same time than women. So when the building is designed, generally, not always, but generally it's designed by a man. There are very few female architects or female engineers. Those toilets are sort of like a oh, the women's toilets are going to go there, and we'll put 2 cubicles in the women's toilets, and the men have got like a cubicle and then urinals. And so 10 women have to queue to use 2 cubicles, whereas 10 men don't have to queue because they can use the urinals and the cubicle. So this sort of thought pattern of, you know, this gender inequality is not just gender inequality, it is sex inequality. It is, you know, male and female, different things. I mean, yes, women can buy a shiwi, which is like a product that they can buy that so they can go to the toilet standing up. But women don't want to do that. You know, if a woman is having her menstrual cycle, she needs to do other things. You know, that coming to menstrual cycles, did you know, up until 2023, and I'm pretty sure most of you will have seen it if you do watch your adverts, is that menstrual pads, feminine hygiene products, they used to use a blue liquid on them in the advertisements and also in the testing. And it's only since 2023 that they have actually started using real feminine fluids for the testing of feminine products. And it's actually bizarre to think about. You know, over the years, I noticed that so many feminine products were getting better and better, and the quality was getting better, and the absorption level and rate was getting better. Luckily, I don't have to use them anymore. But for example, women have to pay VAT on those products. There shouldn't be VAT on them. If things were the other way around, and if it were men that had menstruation, there wouldn't be VAT on them. Those products are expensive. You know, you can buy the cheaper brands, but they are nowhere near as good as the most expensive brands. And there are other ways that women can now, you know, work through that, such as a moon cup, which is it's like a cup shape, and it's got a little thing on the, like a little handle on the bottom, and it's generally made of silicone, so it folds up and it collects the menstrual liquid inside of it, so that you don't need to, you know, constantly buy your feminine hygiene products. Sorry, I know this is quite a disgusting topic to talk about for men, but it is a natural part of a woman's life. And there was an article that I saw in, I can't remember which newspaper it was this morning. It was a woman at Wimbledon who had a spot of blood on her dress on the back. And she took a photo of it and posted it online. And yay, it happens to every single woman at some point in her life. At some point in her life, she will have that accident. And we see it as women as being embarrassing, but we shouldn't. Do you remember a couple of years ago, there was a girl that was protesting outside of the Houses of Parliament. She was wearing white jeans and she just let her flow. And, you know, women even think that it's disgusting. But it's not. It's a natural part of life. Again, as I say, if it was happening to men, it would be thought of differently. It would be a completely different situation. So coming back to the toilet issue, you know, women's toilets should, when buildings are being, you know, drawn up, plans are being drawn up, when the architects are working on them, the women's toilets should be larger than the men's toilets and hold more toilet stalls. Yes, happy birthday to Mrs. Peets. From all of us, happy birthday. So this is where this sort of ignored misogyny, or this misogyny that occurs that we don't really think of, and women don't think of it too, unless they're actually faced with it. One thing that has been talked about quite a lot recently are cars, and how cars are built for men. And I was thinking about this day as I was driving, because I'm 6 foot tall. So for me to sit in a car, you know, I have to have my seat all the way back, and, you know, I like to drive with my arms as straight as I can have them. So for me, that's ideal. But for a short 5'2" woman, she's going to have her seat pulled so close to the front, and then she's going to be peering over the top of the steering wheel like that. You know, some steering wheels do the up and down thing that they do nowadays. You know, I've had cars, I started driving cars when there was no such thing as air brake, ABS, and there was no such thing as power steering. So, you know, there was no such thing back then as moving a steering wheel up and down, unless there was in very expensive cars. I still had a choke on my first car. You know, I used to pull the choke out on my first car. So women who are generally shorter are going to have to sit closer to the steering wheel in order for them to see. And obviously there are short men. I'm not denying the fact that there are short men out there. But overall, men are taller and bigger than women. So when they use crash test dummies in testing for seatbelts and airbags, they are tested for a man's physique, not for a woman's physique. So one thing that I noticed today is the seatbelt goes across my left breast. So that means that in the event of an accident, that is going to be crushed at some stage. Now, I've already had a fractured sternum many years ago. I was in a mosh pit and somebody elbowed me. So that was really painful. But I know, and you know, women's boobs are tender. They're not, you know, a lot of men, and I'm not saying all men, seem to think that they are things that they can squeeze, you know, do that too. It's not nice. It can be very painful for women. Not all women maybe, but I would say for the vast majority of women that I know. So yeah, cars were built and still are built for men. Even the airbag and how the airbag deploys, it is built for a man's body, a man's sort of, you know, the frame of a man, sort of 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot. That is the sort of